So we are a data consultancy services and training company. So we focus primarily on the Microsoft data technologies, and which are like Power BI, SQL analysis services, Tableau modeling, reporting services, as well as on the ETL side, so data issue, data factories, or integration services packages, etc. So our main focus is to help clients in transforming their business processes and automating their transformation journey as well. So kind of helping them in data migrations from on-prem to cloud services, Azure cloud services, and creating reports, data modules, and dashboards for the companies as well in that process. So kind of doing end-to-end implementations. And apart from that, we also have recently started providing technical training services and interview prep services through our company. So which we will talk about later by in the end of the session. Right. So just move on to the next slide. So let me just also just a second. So I'll just close my video from the screen, so it's easy. I'm not getting distracted by the video. So yeah. So what is Power BI? So on a high level, Power BI is a unified data analytics platform. So which is primarily used for self-service and BI purposes. So as you can imagine, data storage costs have reduced over the last many years, now the last 10 years or so. So it's easy to store large volumes of data. So organizations have a lot of data. So they are kind of struggling to gain valuable insights from the data, right? So for that very reason, we have various tools like Power BI, Tableau, or from other vendors as well, like from Oracle or SAP. So the basic premise of these tools is to kind of get all this raw data, ingest them into a proper data model, and then create visuals and reports and dashboards, so that they can present this information into actionable insights to the business. So kind of in a way, we are kind of analyzing this vast amounts of data and then bringing it in a format so that business can actually make some good decisions out of that, right? So as you can see in the image, so data could be spread across in different file formats. It could be Excel, it could be in different databases as well, right? So you have Access database, or more likely you will have a SQL Server database, or it could be from the web, or it could be from a cloud data source, or it could be from any advertising or campaigning information, right? So the basic idea is like we ingest all the data into Power BI, do the modeling, create visuals, and then share these visuals to the business, right? So that they can get some actionable insights. So obviously then the next question would be like, why Power BI, right? We do have other tools. So the primary reason being like Power BI is a Microsoft product. So they're doing lots of investment in Microsoft in Power BI. So it fits into the ecosystem of Microsoft. So considering careers and job prospects, so there's a high demand for that. And along with other Power Platform components like Power Automate and Power Apps or Power Virtual Agents, right? So in combination, Power BI has a lot of demand. And then if you're coming from an Excel background, then the learning curve is also not it's not that much. I mean, you do need to have some good understanding of the fundamentals, but that would help if you're coming from an Excel background and then you have some knowledge on SQL, Transact SQL as well, right? So that's a high level overview of Power BI. So I put some links as well. We'll share the the slides so that you would it's easy for you to go through those bits as well, like how to download the app as well. So going to the next slide. I mean, so this slide, I mean, I have I put a breakdown of the common workflow steps which we normally we would take when we are creating a Power BI report, right? So I have categorized into 5 different stages. So the first stage being obviously the data discovery stage. This is where we identify the data sources. So it could be in structured format or semi-structured format or unstructured format, or it could be in different types, like it could be in flat files like Excel files, CSV files, or it could be in different databases, right? So we identify those data sources, so based on the business requirement. And then the second step is the data ingestion part. So this you can think of your ETL step, right? So we extract the data, transform and load it into the data model. So this is the step. So in Power BI, so this step is carried over in the Power BI desktop, right? So through the Power Query editor. So in the demo, I will go through that the step, but on a high level, so that's the data ingestion step. So we do have different storage modes. So based on how we are getting the data, it could be either import mode or direct query, right? So we do have other modes as well. So the followed by data ingestion. So once we have identified the tables, right? Then and we did the transformations, we load that into the desktop. So this is the step where this is the data modeling step, right? So where we we'll ensure the relationships are correct, like between the tables, making sure that the data is being filtered across the tables as we expect. So we follow a star schema approach, which Power BI from a performance point of view is highly recommended. And then this is also a step where we also create measures and calculated columns, right, out of the data. So if imagine like you want to, so if you have a sales data, right? So you want to imagine like, okay, what's your analysis like by compared to last year, right? Or year to date figures, like how am I comparing to previous month, right? Or previous quarter, previous year. So all those time intelligence calculations, this is where we create the measures in the data modeling step. And then there obviously there are many other aspects and best practices which should be followed, right, to get the quality data and reports out of it. And then once we have created this data model, uh, the third step would be in the Power BI desktop is the visualization step. So this is where we create the visuals for storytelling purposes, right? So this is where that's the design and the creativity step in the process. So that we present the data to the business in using the different visuals which are right for to get the right insights. So we have many visuals like KPI cards or charts or many other features as well. Like you can put drill throughs, bookmarks. So all those aspects we do it in this step, data visualization step. And once we are happy with the visuals which we have created, and in a manner which is so that the business can get some valuable insights, we publish this into the Power BI service, right? So until now, it's in a local desktop. So where we create all the 3 steps, right? The ingestion, modeling, and visualization. And then the last step in the Power BI desktop is where we publish it to the Power BI service. And in the service, this is where it's the collaboration step. So where where the report is visible to the business. So there they can on top of it, we can create dashboards and applications, right? So in the service. So that's the whole workflow on a high level. Um, so yeah, if you have any doubts, I mean, put in the chat window and we'll go through that at the end. But I just wanted to simplify the common workflow of the Power BI reporting, right? So, so going to the next step, I mean, I have put these two tables, so it's easy to kind of get some understanding of the different product offerings, like from Power BI. So I can so there are like four different product offerings. So the first the Power BI desktop, which we have spoken so far, and the Power BI service. And the third, I mean, we also have Power BI mobile product, which is primarily like sort of viewing the Power BI reports on your mobile devices. And then also we have Power BI Report Builder application. So this is a separate Windows-based application. So this is primarily used to create paginated reports. Right. So these are different. In a way, they are kindly different from the reports which we create in the using the desktop application. So in the desktop application, the reports which we create are mainly the kind of a dashboard or aggregated set of information. But while in the report builder, you can create detailed information, detailed reports like paginated reports. So these are more like tabular reports, which you use for say like invoice statements, right, or profit and loss statements, where you want to you would kind of print it out, like you want a proper header, footer, kind of a visual, right? So that's why you use the report builder. This is on a high level. Obviously, you do have a report builder visual, which you could embed in the desktop as well. So they kind of their collaboration. Then they nicely integrate the report builder and the desktop as well. So to give you a full picture, right? And the service is where we do all the collaboration, right? So all the other aspects are more like personal usage, like so desktop is the dev environment, mobile is just for a viewing purpose, and report builder is also a dev environment, right, for creating these paginated reports. So going to the next table, this is about the licenses, right? So we on a high level, I mean, we can categorize the licenses into so four levels. One is per user licenses. So these three, I mean, the free, the professional, and the premium per user. There's a user license. So basically, like each user get a license, right? So and that would cost these amounts per month. And then the last is just by capacity. So when you say premium capacity, so it's not at a user level. So it is kind of at a capacity level. So you get one. So that could be shared across obviously multiple users, right? In the tenant. So recently they have actually launched a new offering like Fabric. So premium is like now Fabric. So that's in the process of migration. But so to just get an understanding, so that's kind of so normally as someone who is new to Power BI, you would have you can just have a free license. I mean, you can download the Power BI desktop for free, and then you're having a free license, so you could publish it to your own workspace. So obviously you cannot collaborate with other users, but then you can create your reports and then create your data models and then get an understanding first. And then once you join, obviously in an organization, you would either have a professional license or a PPU or a Fabric capacity based on the usage, right? So small and medium organizations tend to normally have these two user licenses, and then if it's a big organization, then it's capacity based, right? So I also included a pricing link for the details. But yes, so yeah, I mean, so now, yeah, it's I'll quickly go through a quick demo. First on a blank desktop application, and then a sample demo which I've created. So we just we will know like get a good I mean a brief understanding of the application. So do you have any questions, Swati, or we can answer it later?
Yeah, not yet. We can have them towards then Q&A session. Yeah.
Okay, sure. Yeah. So yeah. So once you have a Power BI desktop installed, I'm um, just opening a Power BI desktop application, a blank one. So you get an idea of what the different uh, s- stages. So once you open your blank report, you will get this canvas. So on a high level, so if you're coming from an Excel background, so this should be familiar to you because of the usual Excel the ribbon style UI. So going from the top level, so you have the main tabs like each is context sensitive, so in the sense like depending on what you want to achieve, the features would change. If we just focus on the home tab, so the first point in the workflow, right, as we have discussed, is getting the so once you have discovered the data, is the data ingestion step. So that will achieve by the transform data button. So here, so normally when you open a Power BI desktop, your first step would be like getting the data, right? So that you can either click the transform button, transform data button here, or you can also uh, click the get data button, and then if you click more, you will see all the different data sources from where you can pull the data, right? So depending on where the data is, where your data is, you select the relevant database, like if it's SQL Server database or your Excel text file, right? And the same can also be achieved by the transform data button. So once you click that, so that this is the Power Query editor. So that opens the Power Query editor where you would actually get the relevant data, right? So once you select all your data sources, then you would you would actually get them in separate queries. And then I'll show you the completed demo, so it's easy to visualize. But then, as you can see here, so as in the slides we were saying about the different transformation steps, right? So here you could actually transform the data. You change the data. I mean, you change the data types. You do the pivoting, unpivoting. You merge columns, split columns, do formatting. You extract, parse, or you change the data types. You get the relevant date, time, values. So this is the place where you do all the transformations, right? You also can add new columns and based on say on the existing data, or you can create some custom columns as well, right? And there are a few other options, but because as it's an introductory demo, I don't want to go through each of the panes. But then once you kind of have your data, and then you can slowly practice, you would be more you find it more easy to go through all the different options. So once you have selected all the tables, you get all you and selected all the relevant columns, you load it into your data model. So that's by clicking close and apply. So once you do that, that data is sorry. So that data is in your model. So I think I've just clicked the close twice, so it has closed the desktop application. I'm just opening it again, but that's how you get the data into the data model, right? And then so the next step would be the modeling. So the modeling, so as you can see in the main canvas, so you have three different views. So one is the report view, the first view. Second is the table and the model view, right? So once you click transform data and then you have loaded the relevant tables, the next step would be like you open the model view. So here you will see all the tables with all the relationships. And then this is the place where you will ensure like the tables are related in the right format, right? And then and then you go to the table view, and here you could see all the data, so of all your tables. And then the last step would be this report view, where you would actually visualize the data. So you would, based on the data, you would actually choose your proper visuals, like either be it's a bar, column charts, or line charts, or the KPI cards, or the slices, or the AI visuals, right? And then on the right side, you would see more. So you have these panes, right? So one is the data pane. So this is where it will show up all the tables and the columns, and the format pane is where you would actually do more the formatting. It will show up all the formatting options, right? So on a high level, so this is from a blank report. Those are I mean, the key areas which you would start. So I'll just open the demo, a prepared demo, a kind of a more, I mean, yeah, a demo where it's kind of easy to visualize, right? So normally when you create such reports and dashboard, you kind of have you make it as it's from a storytelling point of view, right? So this is a sample dashboard which I've created in Power BI, connecting to the AdventureWorks data source. I'll reiterate the steps which I've just shown from the blank canvas, right? So the first step would be like the transform data, right? So this is the data ingestion step. So this is where, as I mentioned, we connect to all the tables, right? So in this case, I have connected to my SQL Server, local SQL Server instance, and then I have fetched all the tables, right? And then actually grouped into two different folders, so for easier readability purpose, right? So for example, like you can see, like in this demo report, I have two fact tables. Like one is internet sales or reseller sales, and then these are the dimension tables, right? So on a high level, so fact tables are like where you store you get all your metrics, right? So say, for example, this is a sales data set, right? So you have the unit price, the sales amount, the tax amount, and the cost amounts, right? So that's your facts. This is the internet sales, and then obviously the same, similar to the reseller sales. And then the dimensions would be the descriptive attributes, right? So obviously, like, yeah, at a high level, you can say like, okay, my 1 million is my sales, but then you want to understand, right? Which customer has bought those products, and amount to that sales amount, right? So these are the dimensions, would be that descriptive attributes which you slice by. So it could be like, so customer, or it could be like which products they have bought, and from which sales territory, and so and so, like, and which promotion campaign, and what's the category subcategory, right? So these are the dimensional attributes. So once you get all your sales, I mean, all your fact tables and the dimension tables, and then you choose only the columns and the rows which you require, right? You don't want to choose everything. So once you are choosing columns which are required, and then making sure the data types are correct, right? So if you go back to the sales, so ensure all the data types are correct, and then you're happy with all the tables, the data types, and all the. I mean, if you want to add some transformations, you could very well do that. So as I mentioned, like, you could actually say, for example, split column, or you want to pivot or unpivot. So you could do that, and then you can also add new columns based on the different options, right? And then you could close and apply. So once you do that, so that loads the into your data model. So for example, like, so then we go to the model view, right? So as you may remember, so the second step would be the modeling. So in this case, so actually I have um, split it into two different. So Power BI, like, there are many ways to kind of make your understanding easier. Like in this case, right? So by default, it will in the modeling view, it will show up everything, like what all the data, all the tables which are connected, right? So you could actually split it into two. So I've just split into two based on fact tables. So it's for easier understanding, right? So easier readability purposes, right? So once you have that, once you have the data, this is the second step would be like you check the relationships, ensuring like are the tables related on the right columns, right? So in this case, like we have internet sales and all the dimensions. Kind of you can, I mean, visualize it as kind of arranged in a star schema, right? So the star schema is like you're connecting your all the dimensions into your fact tables in a one-to-many relationship, right? On a high level. So that's that. This is the place where you do the modeling, and then you go to your, you can also can go to the table view and see like, okay, how your data is, right? So this gives you a glimpse of what the column, the values. And then once you're okay with that analysis, so you could actually start building some visuals, right? So this, as part of a demo, I've just created some sample visuals, like just so that you can see, like get some understanding. Okay, what all can be achieved in Power BI. So and then so you could have obviously multiple pages, like and have those visuals, like one for internet sales, as you can see here, one for reseller sales, and then you could and within each of these, you could have obviously various functionalities, right? You could have slices, like you could slice by years, right? And then you could also so have these key KPIs, the key metrics. So in this case, what I have, so when you are kind of creating these reports, right? So you should keep in mind, like, what are you trying to achieve? Like in the business, like what are the key KPIs which that the business wants to know, right? So in this case, so I've split. You can show like how the sales are split by different territories, how the sales is been done over time by different categories. What are my top 10 products, top bottom 10 products? So all these analysis, right? You could very well achieve in Power BI with out of the box functionality. So I mean, in this case, I mean this is the new card visual which I have used. But yeah, I mean we do Power BI does provide a lot of inbuilt visuals and also custom visuals which we can get from marketplace, right? So in that sense, like it is easier to create a decent report from raw data very quickly if you understand some basic principles, right? I mean, and then the way you kind of do your storytelling, it would depend. Like you can create these hierarchies, right? So in this case, so as I mentioned, like so in this data level, so you in the data pane, so you would see all the tables, and then obviously all the columns, and then all the measures. So this all the measures as well. So in the sense, like the measures which you have created. So you can create measures, like these are explicit measures, and then which can be used further for your calculations, right? So once you start creating these Power BI reports, you would be confident in the sense, like how do you create base measures, and then how do you create more calculated measures, right, based on the requirement. And then there's many other aspects, like say, how do you create these hierarchies, right? So in this case, like you have this sales hierarchy. So if I say, like, for example, sales by territory, right? So you can actually have these drill downs, right? In that way, so if you have a hierarchy, then you can drill down to the next levels. Like, say, for example, at North America, if I want to drill down, so I can click that, and then I can go further down, right, on the territory levels, and then even further. So if you have those hierarchies, then you can use that feature. And there's one more concept, like drill throughs, right? So again, drill throughs. So if you want to kind of go from a high level, in this visual, like you want to split, you want to know more details, right, of this 11 million. So you can actually have a separate page where it will show you more details, like So you can have a details page, right? So it will show up like what that 11 million comprises of, and then it will can have it can split by further levels, and then you can obviously visualize it. What's the order quantity compared to last year, sales amount, cost, the profit values. You can also put some conditional formatting as well. So it's in a way it's easy to visualize, right? So what's the values, right? So in this case, I'm in the demo data, right? So it doesn't make, I mean, they're all negative. But then if you say, for example, if you go back to say, like, I think 2013, so it will. So yeah, you can see like a distribution of data, and then you can quickly gain some insights. And then you can also have other navigational features, right? So if you want to go from this page to, say, for example, the previous page, right? So you can click that, or if you want to go, say, for example, in this case, I've just put a button for landing page. I can go to the landing page as well. So normally, like you can have one design of your Power BI, like you create a landing page, and then you can provide this option to the user, right? If you want to see internet sales or reseller sales, and then you can, yeah, based on that, you can, yeah, put your target pages. So this is kind of a high level, like you the all the aspects which you can achieve with the Power BI report, right? So I think, yeah, once you're happy with the report, the next step would be like to publish this. So because till this stage, you are in your local desktop, right? And then once you publish it to the service, right? So once you click that, you would publish it to the workspace. So you could have various workspaces. So if you are starting with a free license, you could only have your private workspace or my workspace. But then if you have some licenses, then you could publish to that relevant workspace, right? So I'll just show the Power BI report which I have published in the, yeah, the same Power BI report on the service. So this is so this is where you could collaborate. When you can share this with other users, and then you can do the collaboration. So yeah. And then this is still, I mean, there's a slight distinction. So there's still a Power BI report. So you actually are not creating a dashboard in the Power BI desktop application. So once you are published to the service, dashboard is an element which you create in the service, right? In the Power BI service, not in the Power BI desktop. So dashboard is kind of your so if you like the, say, for example, some of these visuals, right? You kind of pin that visual in a dashboard. So that's how you create a dashboard on top of on existing reports, right? And then you can also create apps. So these are the apps which so this would show up all the apps which you have created. So these are kind of packaged reports and dashboards which you kind of tend to give to your business user. So these are different artifacts which you can do it in the Power BI service, right? So this is just a high level overview of how you kind of go about designing a report, publishing it and publishing it to the service, right? I'll just go to the next slide. So I hope you got some insights on how a Power BI report is created. So yeah, I mean, at this point, we'll just go through the quiz. Quickly go through the quiz question. So maybe you would have had some understanding on the concepts. So I'll just bring the quiz form. So yeah, I mean, so based on because we have received a lot of responses, and so as you can see, I mean, most of you are like majority of you are new to Power BI. So that's why we are kind of trying to do this session, and also a upcoming workshop which would give more information on how to start your Power BI journey. And also, if you are actually familiar with Power BI, you would actually also learn some of the best practices, recommended practices as well. So that should also be beneficial for both new and someone who is experienced, right? So just quickly go through the questions. So what are the main stages involved in creating Power BI report? So yeah, as we have seen, it's you can categorize at a high level, like into data discovery, and then data ingestion, data modeling, visualization, and sharing and collaboration, right? So I think, yeah, that's I think that I've covered on this slide. So you would have got some more idea. I mean, most of the respondents have actually got it right. The elements. So there was one more question, like so we can have more than one active relationship between two tables in a data model. I mean, for this, I mean, it is great. It's a trick question in the sense, like you could have multiple relationships, but then we can only have one active relationship. So for this question, it's false, right? So I'll just I mean, let me just show you quickly. So considering the demo, so if you see on the internet sales, right? So if you see the relationships between internet sales and the date dimension, so as we can see, we have three lines. I mean, the two dotted lines and one solid line, right? So if you go to properties of the dotted line, I mean, in this case, this is a ship date key. This is so there's an option where you can actually make this relationship active, but yeah, you can't actually, because there's already an active relationship, so you get this error. So you can only have one active relationship between the tables, but then you can have multiple inactive relationships. And so this is kind of a role playing dimension. So the same dimension is actually playing three different roles, right? So that's the concept. So yeah, I'll quickly go back to the next question. This one was which visual. So this question asks about which visual best represent trends over a period of time. So yeah, I mean, it's kind of a trick. I mean, the wording is a bit tricky in the sense, like you could actually use bar chart, but then the best visual is actually a line chart, because if you have a period doing some analysis over time, the line chart, it's easy to visualize. The tree map is similar to a kind of a pie chart or a donut chart, where if you are comparing ratios, right, then it's useful. With fewer groups. I mean, it's not just if you have like multiple groups, and depending on the data distribution, it would be hard for tree map as well. So it all depends on your data, but then the answer is tree line chart for this one. And the next question was, where to create a Power BI dashboard? So actually the right answer is in the service. So you can create reports, and you can create reports on both in both desktop and the service, but then the dashboard you can only create on the service. So there's some like kind of questions which you would likely face in interviews or in while preparing the certificate exam as well. So just, yeah, once you practice, I think, yeah, it's more, it's really straightforward at that point, because you understand those key concepts as well. So, and then there was any best practices follow while creating a report. So yeah, we did receive a lot of good answers on that. And I think, yeah, I mean, there are a lot of best practices, and it's hard to kind of highlight a few, but then the key being, like, get only the right the data which you require, right? You don't just, like, don't bring all columns or all rows from the tables. Only get the data which is required for the business to understand their problem. And if you obviously, if you do want to get more data, then you can add at a later phase. and then set the right data types, make sure the model is performing well, use the external tools. So something like so you do have like some tools like Tableau Editor or Tax Studio. So use them. Make sure like your reports are performing, the visuals are performing well. You don't see any slowness. Optimize them accordingly, right? And then yeah, there are best practices in each of those areas. So I think our intention is to kind of cover some of them in the upcoming workshops as well. So I think, yeah, this session was just to give some basic understanding of the tool, right? So I hope you have you have received some idea on the Power BI desktop tool. So I'll just go to yeah, I mean, this slide is just to give some good a kind of a cheat sheet in a sense, like, okay, because we have so many visuals, right? How do you choose the right visual? So we'll share this in the slide, so it's you can check as well, like as a reference, right? So yeah, I mean, the next will I've just highlighted. I mean, I've just noted some tips which maybe I thought would be useful for someone who is either new or who is actually using Power BI, right? So the first tip is like, yeah, I mean, if you are someone who's new and who wants to create more projects, right? So I think maybe start with something which from the domain which you have a good understanding. So if you're coming from a retail background, right, or accounting, create reports by using that data set, right? And then understand what are the key KPIs and what are the useful metrics which for the business, and then create Power BI and start creating reports on top of that, right? So in that way, you can easily kind of get a good jump start on your learning. And for someone who is actually using Power BI, has some experience, try to kind of integrate it with other Power Platform tools, right? So for example, you can actually integrate with Power Automate as well. So actually, as a use case, I have used Power Automate. To to send emails because we have received like almost 100 participants like who have filled the form, right? So sending individually to all of them would have taken a lot of time. So I created a flow on Power Automate, and then I have sent those emails automatically, right? Because you could put a template and then run the same flow for 100 for a number of people, right? So think about those use cases, and you can semi-automate or fully automate those processes, right? And then, as I mentioned, like, yeah, build a subject matter expertise, because because there are a lot of uh, general reports on Power BI. So if you have some subject matter understanding, create a report on based on that, right? So then you could stand out in that from the crowd. And then if you're very new, then start your journey from Microsoft Learn, because that has a lot of good details and information. And obviously, like, yeah, we are having a upcoming workshop as well. So yeah, there we also will provide more information on how to create report in Power BI, like end-to-end report. So you can also join that if you are interested, right? So yes, I think we can stop the recording now, and we can we can take any questions if someone has. So like.